right, I got it. Yeah, so, yeah, I bought, you know, the cubes, the packing cubes, have you seen these things?
And it's like hot
I've heard about
there.
them, I didn't know what they
It's
really
cold
did.
here,
So I
so you're
got
like,
these packing cubes, and I literally.
or if you're inside and you're freezing.
Bags, and it fit in my tiny little carry-on.
I was crazy, like, I see you with your little hand thing, I'm like.
Yeah, I carry my whole life around. Yeah.
I thought it would be that.
Weeks on. Now, I am leaving a big chunk of clothes for my husband to pack in his suitcase. Yes, but I'm full and I'm like, ooh, I don't have any more room for, you know, like hair things.
Yeah, that's a whole nother suitcase.
I mean, I'm used to just needing to pack this and a hairbrush.
Me too. I used to have that.
We will bring all the tools.
Thank goodness.
I'll let Amy know.
Because after y'all leave, I mean,
You're
I even
gonna
got matching jammies just to wear jammies, so you didn't have to see me in what I normally wear.
Well, you're being very considerate, because
I'm
I,
trying.
Right.
There's 4 of us in one room, okay? I'm trying to get my act together for once in my life. Like, I want you to respect me.
Well, now I know that's all gonna be a lie.
But normally it's like,
Shorts and a tee.
it's shorts that maybe have bleach stains all over them and a cropped AC/DC shirt.
Those are the
and like,
best.
yeah. No,
That's
no,
what I wear,
no.
basically.
Set, so I look like a professional adult woman that you would respect.
Those are the
Like
best
it.
I think if you're living with it at this time, they probably know, and it's gonna be fine.
That's been a long time to share a room, okay? So.
Hey, I'm sharing with Elise and Bethany
How are
and
you?
I snore
I'm
and I'm
good. How are
so
you?
worried about
Do you
it.
get them little gifts of?
Oh, no, the.
Oh, they're wearing
headphones.
headphones. They've been
Warren.
very well warned.
Or like
I'm just worried I'm gonna wake up
like
and
little
the
ear
dagger
things.
looking at me.
Like, here's a gift from me.
Do you have a
I was
CPAP?
surprised. that-
I don't.
Do you need a travel cap?
Whatever. It's okay, but are you?
I need to get a sleep study done for
You know,
sure.
I
It's your
Oh,
grandpa's
Dad.
birthday. What's all do?
Sorry, I
There's
didn't
some
mean.
cold eggs and whatnot left over, pancakes from
Cold eggs?
Valentine's.
All
right. Yeah, cold eggs are my favorite. We gotta stop
Cold
eating.
spread. Jinx.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta stop ordering eggs, because it doesn't ever turn out right.
And it's been with different catering people,
And it
and they
looks
always are
exactly
like
the
green
same.
eggs and ham looking, like Dr. Seuss
Yeah.
green.
Everyone's like, why are the eggs green? And I'm like, it's a heat thing. It's because of the way they were kept in
Is it
heat.
truly that's what it is? Did you look that up?
Do it.
No, I know.
I did that one.
Okay, so you know like when you overcook your eggs at home and they're brown?
Yeah.
It's like they're
Yeah.
getting heated from the inside parts of the egg.
Cautious.
Okay, so what is it like?
I wasn't planning on doing one.
Chocolate.
wanna
Do
do
you ever
this?
put chocolate in the fridge and it gets all white?
Yes.
It's called blooming, and it's all about the temperature.
Blooming.
Blooming.
Really?
Okay, I like it. Learned that today.
Everybody was,
Kinda like the
everybody that came
egg
in
yolk
was
whenever
wearing
you
cheese.
hard boil it and you
Me
hard boil it
too.
too long,
It was
then
getting
It turns green.
Okay.
See, that's the inside parts of the egg. See, you didn't know you were getting schooled today, did you?
The inciting parts.
This is what happens when
When I think about eggs, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
it was.
message you and I'm gonna be like,
But
hey,
most of the
remember that
people
class
yesterday
you
for some
gave?
reason-
I taught a class on eggs and egg prep. It's almost as if they should just bring it like rare, you know, medium rare, and then it just kind of cooks while it sits.
How you doing?
that's actually a good idea.
It's, I mean, or
I
really
always
gross,
ask.
I don't know, so.
We have a microwave.
And it's funny because.
You do. Have you ever had the microwave eggs and they're like
Who
fluffy?
is it? I know the
So
buddy.
weird.
Yeah.
And they get a little offended, like,
This is what happens on the last day of my time.
yeah, it was just.
Let's talk about eggs and cheese.
I was just curious.
I'm really glad to carry this big binder around. Like, I'm not saying that it's not relevant material, but it's like,
I did yesterday too.
I hear you.
I can't wait to leave it on like on a desk somewhere and not
Yeah, I just-
carry you with, yeah, shelf life, yeah.
I need to somehow give them my number without
All right.
giving them my number.
Yep. It is noon o'clock. Welcome, welcome. Last day of Ignite. So we're gonna go back in time to, is this the 8th session?
Yes.
We're gonna go back in time to the 8th session on social media, which I know you guys are super excited for. Do we have anybody online yet? And we'll just pop on if we don't already. This is Christina Coakley. Christina, how long have you been an agent with KW?
Officially got my license January of last year, and I've been acting as an agent probably about April of last year, and so,
Yep. And you were, was it EA before?
yes.
So operations and,
Mhm. Yep, previously before I was an EA/Director of Operations for Mark Stewart here. He's an amazing resource, and I highly recommend you guys reach out to him as well. I fully give credit to him for where I'm at in my business today. The training and education is super important, so you guys are doing an amazing job by being here.
And you taught an Ignite with him before,
I
didn't you?
did,
Do
I
you remember
did.
which section you taught?
Oh, gosh, no.
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 That's okay.
No.
I couldn't remember either, but I'm not going to take up any more of her time. She's got a very short section, actually, so you all might be done a bit earlier than we've been doing in the past. So guess what? That just leaves you more time with your daily successes. It's so exciting. So I'm gonna leave her the floor. I'm gonna come check on you guys in a little while with your handwritten cards. So without further ado, thank you, Christina, for coming in
Thank you.
today.
I appreciate it, guys. Welcome, welcome. Is everybody awake? I see some faces back there. Look, it's like 11, 12, and I'm still working on my coffee. So if that tells you anything, I think it's the second or third one today. So woo, we are energized, everybody. Well, welcome, welcome. As Shanna said, my name is Christina Coakley, and one of the areas that I enjoy the most with lead generation is social media. I will tell you guys that I am going to reference the packet every now and then, but a lot of this is going to be more open dialogue because I know a lot of you are here. Some of you are just beginning with social media. You have no idea even, how to post, when to post, or, ideas that are specific to you, if that makes sense. So I know. So I'm going to kind of open up the floor a little bit. Again, I introduced myself, and I would love to hear each of your names and tell me a little bit about your experience and involvement with social media.
My name is Oscar.
Hi, Oscar.
Oh, I don't use it at all.
No, not at all, huh? Not at all. Hey, that's all right. That's all right. Welcome, welcome. And if we could start over here.
Holly.
Hi, Holly.
Hello, social media, I'm probably on it all the time, so I'm, very interested. That's why I'm here to learn all the tips you have.
Absolutely.
Me?
Yes.
Hello, me, Mindy Whitty. I have Facebook. I'm not great at it, but I have it. Apparently I have an Instagram account, which I didn't know about until they just did that update on Facebook, and it kind of combines your profiles.
Right.
So I'd like to know how to use that. And I think it'd be really fun because my children all have, what's it called?
That Tickety Talk app.
Yeah,
Mhm.
TikTok.
Yeah.
I
little
think that'd be
Tickety
really
Talk.
cool to learn how to use that.
Mhm.
Don't know if you're covering it or not, but.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where I was kind of asking you guys a little bit, because we can go over a lot of the information that was already covered. For instance, the outline mentions the 10-5-1, which do you guys remember about that from previous classes, what that meant? I'm getting a lot of blank stares. Does anyone feel confident that they know what the 10-5-1 is? Think you do? Okay, well, let's hear. What's your interpretation?
Me?
Yeah.
So you do like 10 posts, 5 comments, and 1 direct message,
Mhm.
right?
Yep, you're exactly right. And so speaking of which, why don't we go ahead and have you guys introduce yourselves at the table there?
I'm Christina.
Hi, Christina.
I've been on Facebook for years, but I really never kind of kept up with it as much as I have in the last 6 months because of this. And then I just got onto Instagram in June, right when I got my license. And I just now started playing around with it a little bit more and getting into trying to figure out how to do reels and that kind of thing.
Okay, well, thank you very much for sharing.
I'm Andrea. I'm on Facebook somewhat and like her trying to use it more for business. I have a business page, but I'm not sure whether or not that's worth it. So really want to know, the difference between the two when it comes to using it for this. I have Instagram, but haven't decided that I want to open it up to business stuff yet. It's kind of where I go when I don't want to hear crap. I'm very particular about what what and who I follow on there. So,
Okay,
but yeah.
well, that's good. That's good.
My name's Megan, and I'm mainly on Facebook. I've been on it a really long time, but I've always been a shadow lurker, so I don't hardly ever post anything. I post my dog, my cat, as bad as. I want to branch out into Instagram after I've found my feed and my place in Facebook.
Okay, absolutely. And
Robert, I use it and mainly just for posting open houses and things like that, so
Okay.
not a whole lot.
I'm Dustin and I got Facebook and Instagram and I'm on it like all the time, just learning how to use it.
For your users or
My
not at all.
advantage.
and final one, no name.
Rob,
Rob.
I don't have anything, I don't know anything about, I'm serious, I'm just, sorry.
Well, that's okay. It sounds like if I'm hearing you guys, it sounds like everybody is kind of new. Maybe you guys play around on it, you know, from the consumer side, but everybody's got business questions, right? Okay, awesome. Well, we will dive into that. We will also kind of cover a little bit. I'm going to steer off topic from this because based off of your guys' questions and why you were here today, it sounds like more that we should probably focus on some of those things, how to get started, what to post, when to post, things like that. Does that sound fair? Okay, all right, because of course, the important goal here is that we're spending your time is money, and I want to see you guys actually take this and implement it in your business. So we will also cover the 80-20 principle. Who knows what that means? 80-20 principle. Anybody? Anybody?
Efforts and outcomes, basically, right?
What did you say?
Efforts and outcome, like focus on.
Kind of. I mean, it does talk about what you're focusing on.
20% of your
80, or yeah. 20%.
20% of your activities
Do the
create
work,
80% of your
80% of the work.
Yep, you're exactly right on that. But we also, when we're referencing it to social media, we are talking about what it is that we're posting. So 80% of the posts that it is that you're making on social media, you want it to be about you, because your audience, the people that are following you, your sphere, it's important that you can connect with them, right? Because if you, I mean, most of us, unless you are real estate enthusiasts or investors, you're not going to sit there and follow someone, and it kind of gets monotonous looking at the same thing. Hey, I got a house for sale, got a house for sale. It's like, well, that's great, but we need to know you, right? And so that's going to be some of the topics that we also talk about today in regards to what to post, if that makes sense. So we're all going to make lists. And then finally, we'll talk about social media strategies, recap, ahas, and then of course, the success system. So lead generation, generate your leads, grow your database, capture leads with open houses, capture leads with social media, and capture more leads. So let me ask you guys something. What is the number one thing that I just said? Leads, right? Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys something else as well. How many of you are terrified of social media? And that's one of the main reasons why you just haven't got started yet. Yeah, a little bit. Okay. Tell me, what's some of the things that's holding you back from getting started?
So I don't know if it's gonna be kind of harsh, but I really I like people and all, but I don't really care about their personal life.
Right.
And same, I don't like sharing about my personal life.
Yep.
Is that weird?
Yeah, no, it's not. It's actually not weird at all, because you got to keep in mind too, one of the key things that is super important for your success in social media is being able to identify your audience, right? So like what he just shared, he's not really into that stuff. He's not really into it. He doesn't care about your cat or your dog or the fact that you posted last night's dinner, like, woohoo, you know, everybody's ate, you know, salmon before. So you have to keep that in mind whenever you are posting to any social media platform, and knowing what your demographic is that you are trying to target is super important, because your success on which platform you choose, right? Because there are at least, I think, 5 or 7 different main types, right? We've got Facebook, Pinterest, Snapchat, TikTok. We've got all of these different options, but it's super important, depending upon the audience that you're targeting, as well as your comfort level, is depending upon whether or not it's going to become more natural to you to use that program. Am I making any sense at all? Right? So if you're more comfortable, most of us have Facebook accounts, right? Maybe a few of us peppered here and there with TikTok. Each platform is going to have its specific set of users and the age range. So TikTok, right? what type of consumer do you think would be on there? Like what age range, male, female? What are your thoughts on that? Younger generation, right? So those are going to be anywhere between, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, maybe in the mid 20s, right? So those are going to be your younger audience. Now, a lot of TikTok success is usually due to the short amount of videos, right? So you've got to do something within like 1 to 3 minute time frame. You got to post it on there, and oftentimes you'll see dances, right? And then, oh my gosh, everybody just blows up and starts doing it, right? And then you start noticing in your feed. When Wednesday came out, have any of you guys seen that on Netflix? Right? Nobody? How many of you have seen on Netflix Wednesday, the series I'm talking about? Okay, so we got a few nerds in the group. Hello, fellow nerds. All right. So with that being said, all of a sudden, everybody and their mom started doing that dance, right? Everybody started dressing up. But that is super important because you have to submerge yourself into social media. So for instance, TikTok, Facebook, right? You have to submerge yourself into the culture to understand what is trending. So that way you can take what is trending and apply it to your real estate business. So I'll give you a couple of examples. The Stranger Things, right? Have you guys heard of Stranger Things? At least some of you guys, right, heard of Stranger Things. All right, woohoo, Stranger Things. So previously before, around Halloween time, right? All over the news, you might have even seen it Facebook. There was a house and it had pretty much a whole entire scene from Stranger Things to include whenever she was just hanging up there in the middle of the air. It freaked out a lot of neighbors, but that content generated thousands and thousands of views. I mean, a friend of mine went by there. She actually lived in the neighborhood. She shot a video. Her post, it wasn't even that great, right? The video quality, it was like shaking. You got your cameraman around, like you're not exactly a professional, but she posted that video and she got over, I think, 2 million views within 48 hours. So that is something to keep in mind as well whenever you're thinking about content to post, is that items that are trending, right? Because that was all over the news. So if you created a video and said maybe an open house with some of the iconic music that was associated, you can tag. And so your videos will get more discovered that way. I'm trying to really condense it. So again, if you guys need me to really emphasize, dive deeper and explain, I will. But that's just kind of some examples of the different types of social media categories and how you can just naturally catch on the trend train is what I like to call it. So we will also talk about a little bit more in depth about the 10-5-1 engagement system. I want you guys to also practice posting. And so before we do that, we'll also talk about some different software and some programs that can help you guys post, right? So some of you may not even know how to create a post, like, I don't know, right? So we'll also talk about the strategies, like when to post, recap ahas, we've already talked about that. It takes time to learn something, more time to implement it, and even longer to approach the mastery of it. So what you guys are gonna learn here today, I would highly recommend with anything that you decide to do in real estate, open houses, lead generation through social media. If it's not your thing, that's okay. But whatever it is that you decide your guys' one thing is, dive deep and submerge yourself in it, right? You are not going to be a master of social media getting on it 1 or 2 hours a day. I hate to break it to you, but of course, I'm sure most of you know that in this business, if you want anything, you have to work for it. You have to work for those leads, you have to work for the relationships, and you have to work to be on top of mind and following up. That's just what our industry entails. So learn it, research, and implement it. Okay. Social media is a powerful and free marketing tool. Expand your sphere with your smartphone and engage with your followers. So I'll talk a little bit about this one real quick. How many of you know how many Facebook friends or social media friends you have? Maybe. How many of you have anywhere between 300 to 500 friends currently?
How many?
300 to 500 friends, say on social media? How many? Show of raise your hands. How many? Okay, so a few of you. How many have anywhere between 500 to 1,000? Okay, what about 1,500? That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. What's the highest that you have?
Oh, I have no idea. I'd have to look, but
I know it's over 1,000, but probably between 1,000 and 1,500 easily.
Okay.
Like 3,200 on Facebook.
Okay, and so do you guys also remember in the section that we had covered and discussed how many contacts are in your phone, how many potential leads? Okay, you guys remember that? Facebook, social media is no different, you guys. I mean, it is as simple as, you know, a lot of people kind of sit there and think to themselves, it's like, man, making 25 contacts a day. Ugh, I don't want to do that. Gross. People. Okay, I get that. Like, I'm not really a talker or a texter. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things that I have to focus on and improve, right? Because it is important. You can do just the same with messaging people and reaching out to your followers or to your friends. If you don't have followers, okay, that's fine. Go through the people you may know. You know, the suggestions there on Facebook, start adding people who, you know, I mean, take a few seconds, look at their profile, verify if it's legitimate and real, kind of get an insight. Okay, they look like a family person. They look like maybe they're in business or finance, and you start understanding what it is that they're posting, add them, send a friend request, spark up an engagement. Hey, I saw today, you know, you posted about your cat. Happy birthday to your cat, right? And doing so, creating that engagement and adding your followers, right? You'll eventually start seeing who can help feed into your database by interactions, right? And the feedback that they receive based off of what it is that you post. So engagement is super important. As you start to grow your followers and adding people, right? The biggest thing is engagement. So as you're posting about yourself, you can talk about a few different topics, right? So think about yourself. This is where you kind of have to dive deep a little bit. Each one of you has special qualities that is unique to you. Yes? Everybody say yes. Yes. Say, I am unique.
I am unique.
You guys are unique. You guys are, okay? And there are certain things that maybe Oscar has going for him that Christina does not, or vice versa. And that is okay, right? But adding those followers and finding like-minded people is really where you need to start. Because the content that you decide to post needs to feel natural, right? And you will also be more likely to get engagement if you're posting stuff that people want to talk about. Make sense? Seems simple enough, right? And so when you go to engage, you got to think of it as almost like a value system. Just like with anything else in our business, we have to provide value. And when you think about your posts, why am I posting? What am I posting for? What is my goal of this post? You really do have to kind of think about and dissect it a little bit so you know if your marketing is working, right? You guys kind of have to think about that a little bit. What is my intention of this post? So for things to be more natural, some of the things that I would recommend to increase your followers and increase your engagement is you want to identify anywhere between 5 to 7 topics that are unique to you. So I'll give you an example. For me, I am a veteran, okay? Some of you may or may not know, there's several veterans here at KW, which is awesome. We also have KW military. So I like to focus on that. So one of the ways that I do that is not only am I posting about my military status, but I'm also going to these different posts, seeing what value it is that I can provide to other veterans, because there is a very big need for that. I also have a classic muscle car. I have a 1972 Dodge Charger. I call it the Beast. I love it. But I also do posts around that. So whenever I go to car events, car shows, you know, I might be out in public and somebody wants to snap a picture with my car. It's awesome. Oh, hey, don't forget, you know, this is my name. I'd love to follow you on social media. Can I get that? Oh yeah, great. I'm going to be at this event, this event. Let me think. Some of the other topics. I'm also a video gamer. I'm also like super huge in the 90s and 80s. So I do post a lot about that. I will say that is definitely a smaller niche that is currently on there. So I might post something that talks about my muscle car. I'll get, a couple of thousand views, right? They'll share, oh, that's so cool. But whenever it comes to the nerd stuff, there's not as many people interested. It's like, half of you, whenever I ask about Stranger Things and Wednesday, y'all are looking at me like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Christina. But essentially your audience is going to feel the same way. So again, it's very important that whenever you're picking your topics, you're also knowing and engaging with your audience. And that way you know what is effective and what isn't, right? 10 likes or loves. How many posts do you like per day? I know, right? Whenever you're put on the spot, you're like, oh my gosh, I have no idea. I just go through and like, oh, that's hilarious. Like, love, oh, that's super cute. Yeah, most of us don't sit there and think about how many it is that we do, right? But I challenge you because one of the ways that you can also build and generate more business and followers with you is, again, when you come from a place of value. So in the very beginning, I had reached out to several of my friends, hairdressers, daycare owners, mechanics, right? So if I went there and I had their service done and I liked it, I would take a picture of myself. Oh my gosh, look at my hair. I'm just so gorgeous after leaving here. Shout out to Krista, my hairstylist, right? Well, in doing so, I came from a place of value. I ended up getting a whole bunch of likes and I ended up sending about 6 or 7 people to her and her business, right? So not only is she my friend and I supported her that way, but what do you think is going to happen when somebody sits in that chair and says, hey, I'm going through a divorce, or hey, I'm getting married, or hey, I'm pregnant, I'm looking to buy a bigger house? What do you think will happen if you continue to pour into others? They'll pour back into you naturally, right? And so that's another way that it is that you guys can earn business by just simply liking. It takes just a few seconds. Go to your friends' business pages, go to your friends' pages, like and support what it is that they are doing throughout their life. If, especially since a lot of people, as we know, a lot of people use Facebook more as like a diary, right? I mean, it is. Oh my gosh, I just broke up with my boyfriend. So go on there, be intentful, be purposeful about your comments, because of course your time is money, right? So that is one way that you kind of have to think about it too, is that you don't want to waste your time just being a social butterfly unless it brings purpose. So that's the biggest thing. If you're wanting to help your friends, right, and that's your goal, support their business, share their page, share their information. Hey, they got a coupon going on because Valentine's Day is coming up. Share it, right? Help spread the word and it will come back to you. I promise you that. And then of course, 5 comments, right? So every day commenting, just look through your posts, comment 5 times, and 1 share, direct message, or post. So I love, love, love not only doing the direct messages, but also the shares. Okay. And if you notice too, shares and the likes and the comments, does anybody have any idea why that is so important and valuable? Anybody?
Algorithms.
Exactly right. Algorithms. And so just being completely transparent, because that's the type of person I am, I'm going to speak more to the female audience. I'm not sure if males maybe experience the same thing, but
Should we get up and go then?
yeah, absolutely. You stay here. We'll throw it.
Divided in the
But you will get a certain type of engagement from people. They might just be intentionally there just to say how pretty you are in all of your posts, okay? As long as it is not harming you, i.e. sexual in nature, inappropriate, right, guys? I mean, we're adults, right? That's okay. Now, there are going to be some of them that will be your raving fans. They're going to like all your stuff. They're going to share all your stuff because they feel connected and identified with you. So whenever I first started in real estate, I had maybe 385 friends. Like, I'm not super social. Before I got into real estate, you know, I think I, like most of you, right? I just scrolled through, liked, ha ha ha, that's awesome. Kept up to date with extended family and friends, right? I am now at, I think, 6.2, 6,200 followers on Facebook right now. And most of my growth and momentum started whenever I was posting in real estate, about real estate, right? And so the complete strangers who started adding me, who started following me, and that was constantly pouring in, they boost my algorithms. So it gets super crazy because you go from, I have no idea what I'm doing with social media. You're actively posting, you test the waters with your audience. Then when they start sharing, you're gonna have people come up to you and be like, you know, I recognize you from somewhere. I have no idea where, but I know you from somewhere. And what happens is the more engagement that you're getting, Facebook automatically starts putting your profile, right, in front of others in the audience. Think about it, right? As a consumer, when you're flipping through Facebook and then all of a sudden, sometimes you'll see sponsored ads, right? But then you'll also see recommendations of other profiles. It's like, I don't even know this person, but they shared a inspirational quote. Those random people that just kind of pop up on your feed, well, that happens with you too. Facebook puts you in front of others and where they'll do increased visibility just because you have a lot of engagement. You'll also be offered a digital content creator status. Have you guys seen that on some people's Facebooks where it'll say, in the introductory portion, it'll say digital content creator? You guys know what I'm talking about? Any of you?
Heard of it, but I don't really know much about it.
Well, and that's okay. So basically with most social media, right? Because we are constantly seeing more people that are creating funny videos, entertaining, informative, et cetera, right? So the more views that you get on your videos and on your posts, the more that social media platforms want to incentivize you for doing it. They say, hey, you just reached 2,500 followers. They're constantly engaging. You're getting, 200 to 300 likes. You're getting maybe 20 to 50 comments on your posts regularly, right? So they want to incentivize you to continue to do that. So then you end up earning the digital content creator status. Facebook, TikTok, all of them have their own. And when you get X amount of views to your videos and stuff consistently, they will offer you that. They'll say, hey, congratulations, you're a digital content creator. And half of the people are like, I have no idea what that means. I don't know why you gave this to me. I have like 2,000 followers. I have no idea what you're talking about here, right? But you can do that and you can also earn it as a side hustle. I know because I get paid. Now it's not very much. I get an extra $100 or so a month, a couple of hundred from Facebook, just because people were watching my posts. People were watching my stuff. I didn't know who these people were, right? But I was getting a side. So honestly, if you do social media well enough, it can almost be another side hustle, right? Who wouldn't want a couple extra $100 a month just for doing what you normally do, right? How many of you could possibly even apply that towards additional Facebook ads and marketing? A couple of $100 through command, that would get you a lot of exposure, right? Just a thought on that. Yes, so kind of diving a little bit deeper, how? Because I'm sure that's what majority of you are here for, right? Is how? How do I do it, Christina? Okay. So I didn't exactly write everything down, but I can tell you what has worked for me so far, okay? Your friends list. You need to break them down and categorize them based off of your sphere, your intermediate family, their profession. You need to write all of that down. Now, you will divide your friends and you can actually put them into said category. So you can create a label on Facebook, title it realtors, because I will tell you that too. Maybe your realtor friends don't want to see everything that it is that you're doing, right? I mean, if you guys kind of think about that, it's like, oh, that's all I ever see that person do. Put them in that little block. So that way, when you go to share certain posts, it can be targeted, right? Towards the audience that you're intending it to. It's another way to do it as well. But categorize your friends, and I would even challenge you to do it in your contacts too in your phone. Now, remember, the very beginning phrase and the very beginning quote was about learning it and doing it and then mastering it, right? So I challenge you guys, if you want to take a few minutes, we can go ahead and write down a list of categories that you can dissect your database into. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So we got family as a topic, right? We've also got profession. We got other agents. So you can create broad topics to start, and I would actually encourage you guys to do that because trust me, when you really dive deep and you go into the rabbit hole of social media and understanding the algorithms and all this other stuff, your head's gonna want to explode. But you got to start somewhere because that's the biggest thing I cannot stress enough to you guys. Out of all of this, out of all Ignite and out of all of the training, it is super important that you actually implement what you are taught, right? Because what's the point in coming to these classes if you're not going to implement and do it? Right. So if you guys have all your categories wrote down, I would love to hear some, just so that way we can get some other ideas. All of us are very new in this room. I would love for you to share some of the topics, subtopics that you have wrote down, because maybe somebody else hadn't thought of that. You're looking straight at me.
Me?
Yep.
I just wrote down what you said.
Yeah. Oh, well, come on, guys, come on. How much? Yep, church. Thank you. Church is a good one. Good one, good one. Where else, guys?
Well, my background is in public safety, so I would have a like law enforcement and public safety.
And to capitalize on that, Christina, what you could do is you can go by, I don't know if you still have like Good Connects and things like that, but there are loan programs that are specific for law enforcement, fire teachers, things like that. So that would be a good one, right?
Yeah.
So that would be a very good one. Who else?
A lot of the people I've met are either through like pickleball or running club or from swim team.
Mhm.
So just put them in that,
Mm-hmm.
or a kid's parent.
Yep. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, guys, let's not overcomplicate it, right? Don't, I see a lot of you back there, it's like, steam's coming from your head, but don't overcomplicate it, guys. I mean, honestly, starting out small, you do not have to be the best content creator in the whole wide world in order to get all these leads, right? Because I can tell you, I started out, one of the ways, and you guys are more than welcome to like take notes, but one of the ways that I started learning about my database was again with the intention of the posts. So for my database, like I could not tell Oscar what to post, because if I tell him to post a muscle car and he doesn't have one, or it's not natural to him, it's not really going to do him any good. So that's why it's super important for you guys to understand and dissect your followers, your database, because we are going to have completely different people, right? At least that's the goal and intention. Yes.
Can I ask, so I'm on Facebook right now, and I've clicked friends, because I'm assuming that's where it would be. How do you go to categorize these people?
So those are great questions. And what I would actually encourage you to do is a couple of different things. After this, it might take me a few days, but I'd be happy to put together some of these little lists of resources that you can go and watch, because truthfully, in order for me to really understand it, I just went to YouTube, guys. YouTube will tell you how to set up your profiles. I mean, and they're like 5-10 minute videos. Some of them are a little bit longer because they're more in depth, but it'll take you like 10 minutes, review those videos. And if you're curious, like, okay, so for instance, with that, what do you search for? Just literally search, Facebook, friends categories, right? And it should bring you up some videos, some different websites and links showing you how to do that, right? So keep that in mind too. The internet is amazing, right? And I guarantee there's going to be at least 10 to 15, if not more, of different people that are explaining the exact same things that I am to you right now. Because that's all I did. That's all I did, guys. I set a goal, I made a topic, and I researched it. And then I implemented it. And if I didn't know something, I just kept researching, I just kept digging. Right? So that with the Facebook categories. But what I challenge you guys to do is think about some of the things out of those 5 to 7 topics, and you start posting. They say that you need to post anywhere between 5 to 7 times a day. How many of you think you could do that? 5 to 7 times a day. Now, if some of you, if that's a little intimidating, maybe start with 2, 3, or 4, right? Maybe start out with a little bit less until you get comfortable. But the main thing that you are going to want to do is with each post have a purpose. So with that, there are also 4 key terms with marketing. It's all about your videos and your posts. So your post, you need to think about it. Am I posting to educate? Am I posting to entertain? To persuade? What was the last one? Sorry, having a brain fart. Any one of you ever do that? Okay, education, entertain, persuade, and inspire. So for me, in my database, some of the interactions that I've had the highest with shares, likes, comments, for me has been the inspirational posts, right? Because when you're scrolling through social media and you see somebody with a big block of text, right, and explaining their struggles, what they went through, right? I'm very open and transparent on my social media because I want people to like me, for me. I want people to engage with me because that's where I'm the most natural. So for me, my videos, they're more entertaining, or at least I try to be entertaining. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but that's okay, right? So for me, I like to entertain and I like to make jokes, things like that, or real estate, or I'll connect maybe my nerd stuff with the entertainment part. So I'll give you another example. Trends. How many of you have heard on social media or the news about Flowers by Miley Cyrus? Most of us, right? Valentine's Day is coming up, right? So I made a video the other day. I haven't edited and posted. You guys feel free to do your own interpretations as well. But I made a video of me showing a house. You know, I went a little bit ahead of time before my open house, and I went through and, you know, the song playing in the background, I can buy myself flowers. And I was sitting there like showing, you know, the house. I was like, look at what you can buy. Look here, look there. You know, that's what creates the engagement, right? Because nobody wants to sit there and see you talk like that. Same old stuff that everybody else is doing, right? So I went through and I took what was trending, applied it to my open house. And when you also use the appropriate hashtags, that's also how your video will be discovered. Because when you go to search, click that little search button, the type of videos that it is that you're looking for, say you're looking for comedy, real estate, dogs, cats, whatever, right? That's how your video will be discovered based off of those hashtags using those algorithms. And so Flowers is trending. Oh my gosh, like how many downloads, how many views? I don't remember how many millions of plays that thing had within the first 48 hours of it coming out. And that marriage ended like 4 years ago, right? But everybody's like, go Miley, we're still rooting for you, right? So whenever you go on there, again, it's got to be tailored to you, right? So Flowers is trending. I used it and connected it with my open house, made my own little interpretation, bada bing, bada boom. That was it, right? So going back to the first steps, okay. I can tell you that some of my hesitation to have gotten started with social media is one, I'm an introvert, guys, through and through. Like what he was talking about. I'm gonna be honest, unless you're like in my immediate sphere, like I'm gonna be honest, I got too much of my own problems, bills, everything that's on my mind. I don't really care too much about what's going on in people's business. I'm empathetic, like if something tragic happened or if an amazing life event, like go you or something bad, but that was not me, okay? That was not my character, but I knew in order to be successful with social media, I had to adapt. I had to change. And oftentimes, in order to eliminate your guys' objections, that's exactly what you have to do. You have to make a list of things that's bothering you of posting to social media. Write those things down. Mindset, they talk about mindset in almost every single class. We don't understand. We've had enough of mindset, right? Everybody's done with mindset, but it is the most important step, guys. The most important step. That's why they talk about it in every class. Okay? If you are not in the right mindset and you can't overcome those fears and objections, it's going to be much more difficult for you, and you will be less likely to post anything if you're uncomfortable with it and you have no idea what you're doing. So that's why the very first thing that it had mentioned was research. So to truly understand each platform, for one, download it. I want all of you right now, take out your phones, download Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat. If you guys don't have those items on your phone, I would highly recommend putting them. And the reason being is that with social media, the highest user database was from those social media categories. So I know with me, I like to focus more on Facebook and TikTok, but you really need to dive deep into each one to understand the education part, right? So if you don't have those apps downloaded, I highly encourage you to. And then guess what? Go to YouTube. You guys don't know how to use it? You guys don't know how to post a video in Reels? That's okay. I didn't either. I had no idea. Half the time I kind of felt like one of those like people that have no idea, right? Technology and everything, like half of my face was showing in the picture, like, oh, I look fabulous, right? It was like that. And I would not say that my videos are even like mwah, pristine yet, but I'm working on it. And it's okay to go through that growth because you need to go through that growth.
How many do you post a day?
It kind of depends. So that's where, again, back to the mindset and the scheduling is super important, guys. Because in order to increase your maximum effectiveness, you got to post it the certain amount of times that's based off of what the algorithms is saying. So I'll give you an example. Facebook, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, peak times is like from 8 to 9 a.m. to post, 10, 12, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and then it starts dropping off around 9, 10 o'clock at night. Does anybody have a clue maybe why that is? Oh, I don't know, maybe I'm on my lunch break, or maybe I'm getting on Facebook while I'm using the bathroom or something. I mean, think about it, right, guys? Think about it. That's usually when the most highest engagement is during lunchtime or at dinner time whenever people are at home. Most of us that are responsible employees or was, right? We wouldn't be on our phones unless it's during those times, break times, right? So again, just kind of think about that. So a schedule could potentially look like, as soon as you wake up, I highly encourage affirmations. Affirmations will also help you get over your objections, right? So that pretty little list that we made of the insecurities that we're feeling, write some affirmations and recite that every day. If you guys feel like I'm not good with social media, tell yourself you are. Write it down. I'm a boss at social media. Woo! Yeah. Even if you don't feel it, okay? But just tell yourself that every day, because then when you start making posts, right, and the 20 likes and the few comments turns into 100 likes, a couple of hundred, your stuff starts getting shared, you're gonna feel good, right? And you're gonna kick yourself in the tail for not getting over those objections sooner, right? So that's what I encourage you guys to do. Affirmations and then social media posts. So most of us are like, oh my gosh, Christina, what do we do? 5 to 7 just sounds like so many. Guess what? Have any of you heard of Canva? Yeah? Canva's pro version is like less than 20 bucks a month. And it has a social media scheduler on there. So for me, I usually take Fridays and I will go through and I will write down upcoming holidays or events, right? Valentine's Day is just around the corner, so I don't know, maybe I should create a post about Valentine's Day. What do you guys think? Fall in love with this house, right? Springtime is here, spring is sprung, spring into your new house. Canva is a really good source for that, and it's a social media scheduler, so you don't have to worry about it. Say you're in a showing appointment or things, right? The whole point is being consistent. Consistency is key. It doesn't matter if your video is absolutely amazing, knocked out of the park, looks like Steven Spielberg directed it, okay? It doesn't have to be like that, but you need to be consistent, and your social media scheduler will help you guys post at the given times on each social media site. They can link, you can link your accounts to it. You can also do that in Command. How many of you have your social media accounts linked in Command? Couple of you? I would highly, highly, highly encourage you guys to do so. Not only does it help you with your social media posts, but if you go through Command for your social media advertising, so much cheaper, guys. So much cheaper, right?
Yeah, I did one of those and I only spent $10 and I ended up getting like more than 10 leads. So that was worth it in my opinion.
Yes, 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 yes. And most of us that are new and starting out, listen, I know, and I'm not bashing it or anything by any means, but most of the time when they talk about this stuff and when things are uncomfortable, what do they say? Leverage it, leverage it, leverage it. Just leverage it out. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have that type of money to leverage out just yet. I'm new and just starting, right? So we have to learn this stuff ourselves. We have to be our own administrative assistant. We have to be our own marketer. So go through there and use Canva. I actually challenge all of you to go on. There is a free version. If you guys just want to play around with that a little bit, get used to it. Because honestly, it's probably one of the most user-friendly tools that is out there. You could try to download, if you really wanted to get technical with it and everything. I mean, you could download Adobe, like you could download all these different programs, but truthfully, if you have no idea about overlays or how to insert clips and stuff, you need to start somewhere. And I highly recommend Canva, just based off of my experience. No plugs or anything. They're not paying me. But yeah, I highly suggest using Canva to start. So practice creating the posts, your posts with your creativity in Canva. If you guys don't already have professional headshots, I know KW, I don't remember if it's every month or every few months, but they do have free headshots. Take advantage of that. Save money, guys. Save money. Use Command, use Canva, right? Use the headshots and play around and get used to it, right? Yay. So engaging with your audience is another one. We kind of talked about making those posts, those topics, and posting consistently. Then we take it a step further with the scheduling. So we got to do something with those leads, right? So we've made it. We did it. Woo! Somebody reached out. They're interested in me. They chose me. Out of all the sea of agents, they chose me. Okay, that's fantastic. How are you going to stay top of mind of them? How many of you have your smart plans set up? Or how many of you even have a process of taking these leads? What do you do with them? Right? So there is a little bit of legwork that you do have to do in the beginning before you even reach that point, because you can start, right? You can start posting, but something that I had discovered was as I was doing that, I was not prepared. I was not prepared at all for the growth. I wasn't prepared for people to actually reach out to me. I was like, oh, hi. Oh, you want me? Oh, okay. Yeah. Write this down. And next thing I know, I'm writing leads on napkins and sticky notes are all over my desk. And where did I put this information from the last time? You need to have a process, guys, of how it is that you are going to, once the moment that you get a lead, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? How are you going to follow up with them? If you don't have your smart plans set up, at least having the nurture, right? The neighborhood for your sellers, and then your just basic search, right? For the leads that even contact you and that are interested. You've got to have a way to document it. And that part, I will tell you from being the administrative side, is super important. Because you have to be your own boss. This is your business. If you're not keeping track of where your leads are coming from, how will you know if it's working? Can't just keep throwing money at stuff, guys, and be like, oh, well, I hope it sticks. No, we can't do that, especially those of us that are, trying to grasp for all these different leads just to get a closing, right? Because we got to eat, we got to feed our families. We got to be able to document where this is coming from, or when you do get that budget, even if it is a couple of $100 a month, it's still a good budget, right? We just discussed it. We had an example right here in front of us. She spent $10, and how many leads did you get? 10? Yeah, right there, guys. So what did you do with those leads as soon as you got them?
Put them into command and called them and checked in with them. I noticed you had clicked through an ad. And granted, there's always going to be a couple that are like, oh, so-and-so's using my email or that's not me, bye, but I would say a lot of them are just ones I have to kind of nurse and just keep checking in on them.
So that is another topic. And again, I do have a listing appointment and I know you guys have stuff to do, but I am going to try to touch base a little bit more. So what she just said, right? She was talking about how the leads and verifying whether or not what's a good lead, what's a bad lead. How many of you believe that there are bad leads? No, there is not a single bad lead. They're looking. It just depends on when. That doesn't make them bad just because they're not ready to buy right now, guys. That doesn't mean that they're bad. It doesn't mean that they're bad if they're skeptical to follow up from you. As a matter of fact, expect that. Expect that, guys. They're not going to want to respond back right away. But the key, especially with online lead captures, because I've also got my hands in multiple pots when it comes to online leads, so, and even paid leads. So I go through Facebook, right? Have those ads. You got to have a place to capture them, first of all, to get that information. So if you guys have not been through the classroom training yet, I would highly recommend, if you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, your email, whenever you sign into your KW email, if you go to the top right, I think there's like 9 circles. You click on that and it will open up for you calendar, mailbox, like all these different things. Well, there's one as you scroll down called Classroom. Okay, click on that and watch those videos. Go through there, because if you guys don't know how to do this, it does mention about how to create a landing page. I think there's a video on there with Dan Turkel actually explaining how to create a landing page so you can capture those leads. All right, like I said, guys, there is a lot of prep work in the beginning. You got to. If you have no idea about the landing page, if you haven't connected your social media accounts yet to command, those are important steps. So as you guys are writing down, make sure that you write that down and actually do it. And if you need an accountability partner for it, shoot me a message. That's okay. Hey, Christina, I did it. Woo! High five. Because you need to. So when you capture those leads, and I'll give you an example. So one of the things that I started noticing is the follow-up game, making these calls, the interactions. Boy, did that start taking time. I was spending about 2 to 3 hours, no joke, responding back to all the comments and all the messages, because they will start to identify with you, right? They're going to start looking at you personally now. And that is a huge key, because for people to engage with you, to build that relationship, they got to like you for one reason or another. So even if that is PTA meetings, church, classic muscle car groups, right? They gotta like you for one reason or another to remember you. So what was interesting that I started noticing is, as I started posting more about myself, the things that resonated with each individual follower, my post might have been about real estate. oh, hey, Christina, you did an awesome job, at the car show, and it had nothing to do, right? My post had nothing to do with it, but they remembered me from the car show. Hey, Christina, saw you at the concert. Yay, right? So then that they are starting to personally identify with you. I started also getting messages from people who was asking my advice on certain things, because as I was posting inspirational things about myself, people started reaching out to me that had nothing to do with real estate. And I had long messages from people that was explaining about some of the hardships that they were going through in their lives and how my happy posts got them through it. 1, 2, a whole bunch of them started showing up. That's how you know that it's working. When they are reaching out and they're identifying with you, when you are making that emotional connection, oh boy, guys, that's strong. Because think about it, how many of us have experienced one range of emotion? We're extremely happy about something and we want to go tell this person, or we're having a rough day and we feel that we can be vulnerable and open up to this person. What kind of connection, what kind of impact do you think that it would make to just take 5 minutes out of your day and respond back to that message and empathize with them, right? It works. And I'll tell you, they will start tagging for you as we were talking, right? It's a give and take road. They will start tagging for you as well. Hey, you got to reach out to Christina. She's so awesome. That didn't cost me a dime. Not a single dime. All I did was time in building that relationship. Does that make sense, guys? So that's one of the things I'd encourage you to do. So dissecting it a little bit further, capturing the leads, having an administrative assistant, not many of us have. Once you start getting a whole bunch of leads, right, it takes time to sit there and have to put them each individually, one by one in command, right? How many of you have done that? The ones that are posting in command, it takes time, right? Oh my gosh, you could spend all day trying to put these leads in the system. So I thought, what could I possibly do to make this process quicker? Technology, guys, technology. So whenever I receive a new lead that comes into my database, they call it speed to the lead. So first, you need to immediately reach out within the first 5 minutes. 5 minutes actually may be too long. Maybe within the first 3, reach out and engage back with them. As soon as you get that come through and you see that notification, I believe command will let you know if you have a new lead, right? I'm pretty sure on the mobile version it does. Immediately reach out to them as soon as you get it in, guys, because you want to be on top of mind with them. Because if you think for 5 seconds that you are the only post that they have seen in regards to real estate, you are sadly mistaken, right? So you got to reach out while you're on top of mind with them. Hey, I saw that you had sent a request into me, that you're looking for houses. I would love to help you. Let me help you get started on your journey. Tell me a bit about yourself. What are you looking for? What areas? Is this your first time buying a home? Are you an investor? We got to ask those questions, right? Because we got to get to know them. And that's the biggest part, guys, is if you have those objections in the back of your mind, and you can't really open it up to them. It's like, well, they contacted me and they want my services, but then I actually have to talk to them. Yeah, guys, you got to talk to them. Got to reach back out. And if you have objections to that, practice, right? Practice. I don't know what to say. Most people need the confidence, and most people get confidence from knowledge, guys, and practice. Okay, practice having those conversations, practice being uncomfortable. That's the only way you're going to get through it. You have to break down those objections that you have. Right? So I want some of you to kind of tell me a little bit about how you take your leads information down. What is your process? What is your system? And I would love to hear each, even if it's one nugget of feedback from each of you. And if you don't have anything, that's okay. Just say that you don't have and take notes. What do you do?
I don't have anything.
You don't have anything? That's okay. That's okay. Well, let me rephrase. How many of you don't have a process right now? Okay. All right, so how many of you have heard of Google Forms? Yeah, we see it most of the time, right? Or in Eventbrite, whenever it says, hey, fill out all this stuff, right? That's one of the things that I decided to use whenever I was trying to eliminate time, is I wanted to systematize everything. I was tired of going through and having to type every single person that may or may not even transact, right? I was tired of it. It was wasting me time. So I got more efficient. I started utilizing technology to my advantage. So whenever I receive a lead, immediately whenever it comes through into the landing page, I send them the following things. I will call. And if you guys are not familiar with Ben Kinney's 10 Days of Pain, or even who Ben Kinney is, oh my gosh, if you guys don't know who Ben Kinney is, go and YouTube that guy. I'm telling you, he has a great business mind and he provides a lot of good nuggets in his YouTube videos. But the 10 days of pain is referenced that is because literally for those 10 days, you are following up like a madman. Anybody know why? Top of mind, it increases your conversion rate. Those people are gonna start looking. And you want to be top of mind because you're gonna be competing with the other people who have smart plans set up, who have the text messages and the Twilio and all that set up, right? You're gonna be competing against them, guys. And if you don't wanna do it, you gotta have the systems and the tools to be able to do it for you. Right? So I use Google Forms. And so what is actually very useful about that is I will email it to them and it'll have them fill it out. Or depending upon if it's like a phone call in, I'll go over it with them on the phone as well. And I'll just ask it. So the cool thing is too, guys, depending upon how tech savvy you are, and if again, you guys need help, I am happy to walk you through this, but I am to the point where I have my desktop, my cell phone, all intertwined and connected using Google. So whenever somebody does call in, and let's say I'll put them on speaker, I'll have my computer right here. There's this friendly, cool little thing called, it's like a voice, it's a speech function that you have on your computers. I don't know about Mac and Apple, sorry guys, I prefer superior versions. No, I'm just teasing. But I can actually, whenever I am on the phone with said client, I can sit there and say, hey, Google. Oops, ignore me, phone, my phone activated, but I can sit there and say to my computer, it's like, hey, take note, the speech will accept it. It can also operate with Excel spreadsheets, which is where Google Forms, you can export your lead information, put it into an Excel format, and just out of curiosity, does anybody happen to know what marketing company that we have available to us that automatically uploads those contact information for you from an Excel format? Anybody know? Maybe it's an intimidating question. It's okay. So actually, with oh gosh, I'm having a brain fart now with the marketing group that we have. Yes, Scott Leroy. So they will actually do it for you for free. And I believe Onward has something like that as well, where they'll sit down with you and help you with the exporting, right, of your contacts. But guys, that will save you a lot of time there too. So if I am communicating, right, and I'm sitting here, I'm on the phone with the client, I'm going over these different questions, I can have each block filled in voice to text, right? So what are you interested in? Line 2. It will automatically move down the row for you and fill all that information out. Hands free, guys. And then that data and information that you now inputted on that Google form, it's exported. Boom, export. You can even connect the database and the work cells together. And then you can send it to Scott Leroy to have them upload it for you, or because that would be quite a bit, right? We don't want to over bombard them, but it's always good to at least have the basic information in there so that way they can go through and fill in the rest, right? So whatever process it is, maybe if you guys aren't as interested or as serious about the tech side of things, that's okay, right? Everybody has their own way of doing it. But the point is you need to have a system. Because leads are money. And even if they're not ready to buy right now, that doesn't mean that they're not anything to you guys. Because as you're working, right, and you're going through the process, the 0 to 3 month people, man, you're working through them, you're finding them houses, boom, getting everything under contract. And the next thing you know, that 3 months is here. Well, then you got the 3 to 6 month people that were ready to buy and now they're ready, right? You got to constantly feed your database and you got to constantly feed and follow up with those people. Right? So again, kind of circling back around, you got to have an intake process. You got to have a follow-up plan, because if you don't, you will start losing those leads that you either paid for or worked really hard for. What do I care? Christina hasn't talked to me in 5 months. Why do I want to use her? I told her once and she was really nice at one time, but there's no loyalty created there because there was no relationship built. And if you're not following up because you don't have a process, then how are you going to know? How are you going to know? You're not. You won't. You'll start losing people. They'll get upset and they'll be like, hey, we were supposed to go and see houses. I know we talked about it 4 months ago. You know, that really will. And that's what'll happen. Some of the things and a lot of the stuff that I'm telling you guys right now, a lot of you are probably just gonna let it go over your head. Some people, when they get faced with challenges or new opportunities, they buckle down because they don't want to do it. They're too afraid of it. It's going to take too much time. But guys, you've got to. You got to treat it like a business. And if you don't know where your clients are coming from, if you don't even know who the leads are, you don't know anything about them, you're not going to be able to stay at top of mind and continue to build that relationship. Right? Yes, Christina. Yes. So I know that we covered quite a bit so far. Does anybody have any feedback or any additional follow-up questions for us to kind of dive deep into that? Talk a little bit more. Hey, listen, I am not judgmental. You guys don't be scared to raise your hand and ask questions, because that's why we are here. So what?
So I use Canva and I've always used that, so I'm comfortable with that. So now I'm kind of like to the next stage of like, okay, I'm trying to make reels and all that stuff. So what is your favorite like editing type video app, or what's your favorite when you're starting out?
So honestly, I've had a lot of different experience with, like I said, Adobe was one, but that got to be too difficult and too confusing for me. With Reels, that I would recommend going to a higher source if it's going to be a longer video. Honestly, those type you want to post to YouTube, because most of the time when you see them on Facebook, TikTok, it's usually like a minute section or so, minute or 2, 3 tops. They're quicks, right? But YouTube, a lot of people will go to and spend 30 minutes to an hour just watching, and for entertainment and education, right? So I would recommend, honestly, Canva. That's what I use right now, and it's even got several different templates for like intros and outros to your videos.
Also?
Yes, ma'am.
I've never even dabbled in that section of it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. I would go around and show or try to pop it up on here, but yeah, I started creating my intros and outros on there, and it's already got it's already got the templates pre-made, and there's actually some pretty good ones that looks top quality on there, guys. Like, it's not just, circles and squares and stuff like that. Like, there's animations, there's sounds, there's pictures that you can even upload and stuff about your listing, or even videos, right? Me personally, I'm still sticking with Canva, at least for now, right? Until the more complex videos. But no, that was a great question. Anybody else?
My question before was about a personal page versus a business page.
Yes.
And is there a point in having a business page even?
So there has been mixed feedback on that question. So I'm glad you asked, actually. in my opinion, it is better to have your personal page. For multiple reasons, especially whenever you're new and you're just starting out. I can tell you, I was trolled quite a bit from spammers on my reviews. And so they'd give me like a 5-star review, but Dr. Shakespeare did an amazing job on my weight loss, blah, 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 blah. Contact Jake Renard here, you know, or whatever. And it's just like, what? Are you kidding me? Right?
Remove those somehow, because I've got a few of those as well.
You can report it as spam, but honestly, I've heard some people have had horrible luck with getting that removed. They've reported it. Facebook doesn't do anything. With my instance, and I'm referencing personal experience, I reported it and it instantly got removed. But I think it's due to the amount of times that person posts and it gets reported, right? So it may be quicker for some, maybe later for others, but one of the main reasons why I recommend the personal account over the business page as well is because guys, they are there, you know, you're going to stand out. You're going to build those relationships when they understand who you are. And most of us on our personal pages are posting who we are naturally. Look at my awesome bike I just got, guys. Woo! Ninja Kawasaki. Well, I don't know bikes, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? So that's my recommendation. Or, you know, if you wanted to break it up and do a combo, if you only want your real estate stuff to just strictly come from your business page, go to your business page, create your real estate post, and then share it from your business page to your personal, and then just link the information in there as well. But me personally, I've actually kind of steered away a bit from my business page just because most of my people who I connect with, I have more success through my personal.
Do you have people leave reviews? And if so, where do they leave the review if you don't have a business page?
Yep, that's actually a great question as well. So I typically post my reviews on there. I don't have the whole likes or stars or anything like that because again, one thing I experienced because I owned a few daycare centers, I've owned several businesses before I got into real estate. And so it is very detrimental to you because if you say call, I'll give a prime example in our industry. If you call the wrong person, right? And you're sitting there and you're going through your spiel, hi, my name is Christina Coakley. That person's ticked off that you called them. They're going to go on there and leave you a negative review. And it's almost like you have to get like 5 positive reviews versus that 1 negative to bounce back. And when you're just starting out and beginning and you don't have that many people, you know, it's difficult to pull yourself out of that gutter. So even with my business page, I don't allow people to leave reviews for that reason. If anything, I focus more on my Google profile than I do my social media. That's something else too, a little side nugget, a little side clip. Google is a very helpful platform in itself as well. If you guys haven't already, whenever you type in like 1619 East Independence here, the Market Center's address, what do you see?
Adam Grady.
Mm-hmm. But right? No, you're exactly right. But I want to capitalize on that. So we see Adam Grady. I think we see maybe Evans. There's probably about 3 of them, right?
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few. The ones that come up to the top, do you guys have any idea why they're there?
Right, because they have top Google review.
Yep. And as a matter of fact, that's how you can get your information to the top without having to pay a dime for it. Because whenever there's multiple, because if you look at them, honestly, if you look, if they haven't boosted their Google profile page, right? Because there is that too, which is why I encourage you guys about the Google, because again, most of us as consumers anymore are online or looking and shopping online, right? Let's be real. Like that's technology, that's our times. So going on there, making a Google profile, encouraging your clients to fill out and to do the likes and reviews on there, because that's how you get in front of people whenever someone is typing in Springfield, Missouri real estate agent, Springfield, Missouri realtor, buying a home in Springfield, selling a home in Springfield. All of those things that I just said are key words that they look for during the searches, right? And so if you don't have the money to pay for your profile to be advertised at the front of the line, right? Because if you do, if you type in, example, daycare centers, right? And then at the top of the list, there might be 1 or 2 sponsored, right? But then next underneath, it's based off of those reviews. It's based off of the numbers. I mean, you could do it right now if you pull up 1619 East Independence and you look for yourselves. That's exactly what happens, right? So getting those reviews is awesome, guys. But again, you want to make sure to kind of follow up with that. Have you guys talked or heard about the promise? And that may be like another side note, but have you guys talked about or heard about the promise? It's one of the things that can help you guys with that constant engagement with your leads, being able to get kind of setting the expectation ahead of time. Whenever you first meeting with your client, you're kind of explaining to them what it is that you provide the value to them, and then what it is that you can promise them. It's like, hey, I can't promise that everything is going to go completely, smooth, but what I can promise you is that I will be there. I'll be thorough with the communication. If you need, XYZ, right? You guys can personalize it and make it about yourselves and what you offer. But you want to constantly feed to them, just like with the smart plans that are constantly touching up. You're going to want to remind them too, hey, how have you been enjoying, the experience so far? Hey, just curiosity. Am I still continuing to meet your expectations for communication? Am I texting you appropriately? And just ask. They're going to let you know. And the more that you do that and you continue to either go above and beyond and meet or exceed their expectations, you're going to wow them. And then they're definitely going to want to leave those reviews, right? And then you've come to the end and you've asked them once again, because I think during the transaction, they say, I think about 3 times that you mention it to them, and you want to usually do it during the happy moments, right? So let's say that they got pre-approved. Woohoo, that's awesome. Let's do this. Let's get started. Whenever you get under contract, woo, yay, this is what you can expect. And oh, hey, by the way, am I continuing to fulfill my promise to you? Have I done that today? Yes, you have, Christine. Oh my gosh, so awesome. Yay, right? Because that's what you guys want to hear ultimately, is that you're doing a good job, and you just want to constantly remind them of that, right? Because too often, if you think about it, just in our daily lives, right, we can do the most amazing job, right? We can do the most amazing job every single day because that's what it's expected. But the moment that you do something wrong, oh boy, you, your mom, and every single neighbor is going to hear about it, right? So it's good to continue to follow up and continue to stay top of mind and having that positivity. I thought I saw, were you getting ready to chime something in as well? Did you additional questions about what we've kind of talked about?
No, I think I answered one of the beginning ones I had, so. I think I'm good for now.
Hey, hello, Mike.
Sorry, little.
No, you're good. You're good. So something else that I would encourage you guys to do is look up affordable social media marketing tools. So I'll give you an example. Some of the things that has kind of helped me improve my video quality, the selfie stick thing, hey, because believe it or not, angles matter too. I know, right? Sounds crazy, but if you're having your phone right here, right? Or be kind of conscious if they're just seeing up your nose, hey guys, this is great. Hey guys, believe it or not, the angle even matters too. There is more likelihood, but you want to be that detailed, guys. I mean, you truly do. Hey, this post that I had posted in the mountains worked well, or log cabin homes, everybody's crazy about them. And if you're getting a whole bunch of feedback and shares, you can turn around and coordinate that with real estate too, right? Because so many people are like, wow, this place is amazing, this beautiful log cabin home. Well, how many places can you think of there that's in Branson right now, land or residential listings, that you could market? So if you made a post that was just a generic post, right? I personally do it all the time. I'll sit there and I'll post You know, places in the forest, log cabins, you know, just beautiful scenery, right? And then, but those were just random places. Those were just random needs. I had no idea. I'd never been there before, right? But I started noticing that that was one of my most popular posts that was being interacted with, being shared and things like that, and commented on. Oh my gosh, that place is beautiful. So then I went, and while I was showing a client of mine a land listing, and if you don't have clients, it's okay. Like, just go out and create the content, right? You guys can easily look up beautiful homes here that are like 250 and below, and you can do a little tour. You don't necessarily have to have the leads or the clients to do this, but in my case, I posted whenever I was out showing a land listing. It's gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. I ended up getting 17 land leads out of that. And I also posted around the time that hunting season and stuff started opening up. So then, you know, it was just a perfect storm. Another nugget, and I promise I'll probably have to wrap up here in the next 10 minutes because I do have to go to my appointment. But another nugget is as you are going throughout these classes and they are talking to you and training you about open houses, right? Cold calling, all of these different things. When you look at the data and the statistics and the numbers, a lot of them stand alone by themselves have very, 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 very low conversion rates, do they not? How many of you have cold called? Yeah, a couple of you? Okay, so another tidbit, okay? So with all of your marketing, you really want to figure out which niche, like where, I mean, you guys need to develop your own niche, right? Because I mean, Southwest Missouri is still even a large area to cover, right? We got about an hour and a half distance or so, you know, give or take. So you guys need to decide and pick what you want to focus on, not just the city, but maybe even the subdivision. For instance, in Springfield here, what are some of the major sought after subdivisions and neighborhoods? We got Roundtree, right? We got Phelps. Yeah, so we've got quite a few. So I highly recommend that whoever it is that you're trying to tailor to, you guys need to get purposeful about it and take everything and combine it together. So if you do not have a listing yourself, look, just go and look to see what new listings have come onto the market in the particular area that you're wanting to do. Reach out to those agents, because I guarantee you some of them that are pretty busy and they're not too concerned, but those of you that are brand new and man, you're hungry, right? Reach out to some of those agents. They could, you know, I'm sure that they would love the leverage to be able to say, hey, yeah, go ahead. Take this open house. You can get your leads in that particular market. But when you combine, if you know that you're going to be doing open houses, say Tuesday, Thursdays, right? Or if you want to do like Tuesday, Saturday, or Sunday, whichever it is that you guys decide to do, you can create a marketing campaign specifically around it. So let's say that you targeted a house and you're going to do an open house on Thursday. Maybe that Monday, you're going to send out just handwritten flyers or handwritten notes. I think stamps are up now to like almost 50 cents a piece. So I know that route, because I just recently,
30, I think.
yeah, it was like 50, 60 cents. Like it's extremely, and it just keeps going up. I remembered it was expensive, but you can do like 500 mailers. You can go to Vistaprint and the same, you can use Canva to create, like they actually have options on there for postcards, and you can create your own postcard depending upon who it is that you're trying to target, whether it's buyers or sellers, right? So I'll give you an example. With how high, right, taking advantage of the inflation situation, and most renters are extremely upset because their rent went up $300, right? And they're still in the same place. You can target. And so again, with the mailers, so I was like, hey, Escape Renting, give me a call and let me know what your rent amount is and if that's a comfortable budget for you, and I will send you all of the different homes that are in that same budget in your area. How effective do you think that would be? Be pretty darn effective. So whenever you go and you create the postcard, you go to Vistaprint, you order it, I think it cost me like $50, $50-$60 for 500 of them. Right? And they don't have to be super fancy. They just need to be legible. Make sure to make your phone number big enough that you don't have to squint. That was my bad. It was like in this little bitty font. Oh, no. Yeah, it was bad. But you know, take that. Take those postcards, and if you want them to actually keep it, you got to give something of value. Do some research about community events, family events. Most people have families. Most people want to go out, right? Especially spring and summer's coming up, guys. We just had the circus in town. If you send out those postcards and you do that research a little bit ahead of time on one side, talks about escape renting. On the other side, give them a reason to keep it. Give them a list of different family events and activities that are going on in Springfield or in that subdivision, right? In the area that it is that you want to target. Now, the best part is now you have a reason to cold call. So you send those out on Monday. Chances are they're going to get them by Wednesday. Then you're going to call. Then you're going to call and circle back around to them. And now you've got a reason. Now you're just not like, hi, do you know anyone that's looking to buy or sell a home? Nobody. Okay. Click. That's what's going to happen, right? Click. But now, since you've sent out that handwritten note, now that you've sent out that postcard, now you got a reason to follow up. Hey, is this Mr. and Mrs. Johnson? Hey, how are you doing? Did you have a great weekend? Good, good. Hey, you know, I won't take up too much of your time. I was just reaching out to see if you got my postcard in the mail that talked about all the family events that were coming up. Yeah, well, I'm actually going to be out there with my family. It's super fun and affordable. I'd love to see you guys out. Oh, hey, you know, just letting you know too, you know, I am in real estate as well. So if you know of anyone that is looking to move to the area and wants to explore these events together, yeah, I'd love to help them buy or sell a home as well. You know, again, you're coming from a place of value, guys, because think about whenever you guys on the consumer standpoint get these phone calls, right? Majority of us, nope. Don't want to be solicited to, don't want to talk about it unless it's something that I'm particularly looking for. So you got to give them a reason, right? You got to give them that value to follow back up. So that's what I do. You send the mailers out on Monday, they should get them by Wednesday, Thursday. You cold call that same neighborhood to follow back up, making sure that they got it. You know what else I do? Open houses, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and the weekend, right? So Thursday, that's when you're going to door knock. That very same neighborhood that you already done cold call and that you already done sent the postcards and the letters to. Now you're really on top of mind at some point because one way or another, they've either seen you on social media because you can do the exact same thing. You can target addresses with the mailers, with your social media, your demographic. And when all that starts circling in, you are increasing your conversion rate like crazy, guys. Because if they're seeing you on Facebook, they're seeing you in the mailers, and then they start liking your channel and your personality, what do you think your likelihood is now that they are going to convert and list with you? Because they're seeing you everywhere. So they know that chances are their home is going to be marketed just the same, right? It's really not rocket science, guys. And it's really not that intimidating. And if any of you, like I said, I mean, I could sit here and rattle off all the things that I was insecure about. But when you have that confidence, when everything starts picking up and turning out, like, guys, you're going to be so thankful that you broke through. But you also have to have the systems in place in order to be successful too, because it's not enough. You don't want to do all that hustle to get these leads, and then you're not following up. And you're not staying on top of mind because the work's not over the moment you get the lead. It doesn't stop there, guys. You got to keep following up. You got to get interested in their dinners and their pets, right? You do. It's about relationship building, because that is exactly what Gary Keller has been preaching this whole time, guys, is that we are an industry about relationships. It's so much more than just buying and selling houses for people. And if you truly dig deep and think about it, right? most of the time when people are buying or selling a home, it's because a huge event has happened in their lives. So change your mindset and think about it that way, like, hey, my neighbor Betty, she just lost her husband. She's 80-something years old and she is scared to death. And you can be there for Betty, right? Or say Sarah just had a baby. They need a bigger home. It's usually major life events that people are looking to buy or sell. Maybe they came into a little extra money. They saved up, worked so hard. Like I had a client like that. Let me tell you guys, I talked to him for probably about a whole year that I was in real estate. His situation, I mean, you're going to work with clients of all different backgrounds, okay? Not everybody is going to have the perfect credit score. Not everybody is going to have the down payment, right? You got to work with them. You got to work with them too, because I'm telling you, when you provide that value to them and you help them get their credit score up, you help guide them and connect them with a financial advisor to help them kind of go through and plan. Now they got a goal. Now you're following up with them and helping them reach that goal. I had an individual who had just gotten out of prison. He had been out for a couple of years and his parents were in their 80s. He had just lost his mom. And all he wanted to do was bounce back and show his mom and dad that he's changed. You know, he went in for drugs and they will, you know, you will start learning very, very deep personal stuff about your leads and your clients, right? I mean, most of us do. We end up becoming therapists, best friends, you know, almost. And so that client at the very end, whenever we finally got his savings up, you know, and he worked at it too. He worked at it. And then he finally got to that point and he was in tears on closing day. He invited his dad up. He was 80-something years old and he invited his dad and his dad gave him the biggest hug. And you know, that's when you know you're making a difference. And if you think that he is going to forget me when I helped him that entire time, guys, you're sadly mistaken, right? So you can make a difference. You mean a lot more by connecting and building those relationships. And the very first start is being personal, right? So there's a few different techniques and everything, guys, and I do apologize. I am gonna have to end it, but I would love to continue if any of you have additional questions, because a lot of this stuff was just kind of the groundwork. But to actually go through and build, I'd be happy to put together a list of resources and share it with you guys of different videos that I watched. And so you can rip off and duplicate until you feel comfortable enough in your own skin to start producing your own content, right? Well, thank you very much, guys, for your time and appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm sure it was awesome. I missed it. I was in meetings, but awesome. Can we get your number?
Yeah,
If we have a specific
for those
question.
of you who want to contact me, my cell phone number is 417-986-7325. And you can find me on Facebook, my first name and last name, Christina, CHRISTINA, COKLEY. And if you guys want, you can add me or follow me and I'll follow you back. And I am more than willing to like your guys' posts to help boost your algorithms. Okay, and we can all do that for each other.
Woo, yay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes,
So
thank
appreciate
you.
your time.
Appreciate it.
Good stuff, right, guys? Well worth the wait. Awesome. Okay, I've got extra handwritten cards. Who needs them? Oh, of course, my shining star back there. Okay, you too. Oh, yeah, let's turn this off. We are good.
Alrighty.
Thank you. Everybody wish her luck. She's got a listing appointment.
Online lead, by the way.
Woo!